Hey, my name is Chamchi Gimbop. I am the political fish. Welcome back after the Sunday stream with Captain Swiss. We are just doing a wrap up, and what we want to do is kind of gauge how you guys in the chat how did you feel about the stream? Is there any kind of points of view that you kind of don't think were represented within the stream? This is your chance. This is your chance to give us your ideas. So on that note, I'm going to pass it over to Captain Swiss, who is right here next to me. Hello, Swiss.
Hello, how's it going, man? Can you hear me? Is my mic working again now?
Yes, your mic is working fine, mate.
Oh, jolly good. Yeah, it's going pretty all right, thank you. I'm just throwing some links out to people. We've got one Benjamin Harrison with us here, and also a Marcus as well.
What the fuck? It's logged me in on the wrong account, so I'm just gonna.
Shit.
Is that psycho?
Oh, and we had Marcus as well, and he's just gone.
Oh no.
He should be back. We had all these guests who'd suddenly jumped in.
Yeah.
I'll let him know. we had you for a second there.
I don't know what to do now.
It's fine. It's fine. This is all of the fun of streaming. It's happened to me countless times here. You just got you start off with like a weak first 5 minutes, and then it slowly builds itself into something with a few more people.
There we go. Psycho Benz is back with his avatar. That's what it was. He was like, "Where's my fucking avatar?"
I've literally never had that. It was logging me in from my like semi-professional account, like the one. Like if I wanted to like send a message to someone about a job or about uni, I don't want them to get a message from Psycho Benz TV.
Is it bad that I've got you on Facebook and I didn't even recognize your name? It's just like, who's Benjamin? What? We've got Marcus here with us as well. From the stream earlier.
I'm just. How's the audio?
It's good.
It's very good.
So, Marcus, are you the guy that was questioning us about the panel and stuff just as we were finishing the stream?
Questioning? I don't know if I was questioning. I may have went, oh, when was the next one going to be on? But that was I think that was mainly it.
That was it. Wasn't a forensic 20 questions. It was just sort of finding out when the next one is. Indeed. And you're how long have you been watching my channel for, by the way? Because I think I've seen, like, I first saw comments from you maybe in the last week or so.
You have seen a comment from me about a few months ago, so I've been watching for about 3 months on and off, but I've got too much in my feed, to be quite honest, so it's like no one's getting my full treatment.
Oh, it's fair dues. I've got an awful memory, by the way, the amount of comments I've read before, so that's fair dues. Well, I've completely taken over your stream, Champtree. Sorry about this, but just welcome.
No, Swiss. It's a wind down. You know, we're supposed to be, relaxing, because when you get when you do something so full on as your stream or whatever, it does get quite intense sometimes, and it does get balls to the wall, sometimes. And
Tony Blair's,
sorry?
Fucking hell, I've done the joke wrong. I was referring to Thatcher with balls, but I said Tony Blair's balls.
What are you chatting about? Fucking Benz.
Swiss knows.
What is he on?
I know. It's a meme. It's a trope of ours from streams and streams ago that Tony Blair is Margaret Thatcher with balls. It's a quote from Styles.
I understand that. Yeah.
Oh, that's a horrid thing to say.
Why?
That's just all wrong. As much as there may have been the great old line, the greatest achievement Margaret Thatcher ever made was bringing making the Labour Party accept sort of capitalism. It wasn't it's still not as true as I wish it could be.
No, sorry. No. Like, Thatcher invented Blair in the same way that Blair invented Cameron, right? They try to meet in the middle. You know, it's always a compromise. You know?
Yes, I actually will partly. I think about 95% of the time that is true on all cases of a lot of between Blair and Thatcher. Blair managed to set the tone of what Cameron then went on to go and run upon. And obviously for the current Labour Party was not good enough. But neither was it good enough for the Conservatives because you lost most of the support at the same time, and also we didn't even achieve the majority. So obviously coalition government first, so it wasn't actually that good.
Yeah, so it's the same.
Oh, sorry, I was gonna stab in the dark and say, so you're a Conservative supporter.
Oh, that is not made hidden, but I'm not a particular supporter. I'm a party member. I'm giving it a run at the moment, a try. But
see how it goes.
I'm quite aware of the situation of the party, what it looks like to the far left, the left, the centre, and to other Conservatives.
Whoa! You're really dipping your toes in into waters you don't understand. You're already willing to say that we're on the left or the far left.
No. I just I said I'm aware of what it looks like. I didn't name that you were any of in. I'm just aware of who it looks like. I was just giving you a no. That's
fair enough.
I'm not saying it for anything. If you're going to ask me opinion on something, I'm probably going to be able to see why someone disagreed with it from their point of view. And I'll probably actually disagree with a lot of things and agree with them upon it. That's why I'm saying I'm a realistic Tory.
I think what he's saying is he's a self-aware Conservative member. He's a little bit like Ben in that regard.
Well, I don't know how self-aware I am.
Well, I don't know. You're aware enough to hang around with us lot.
Oh, don't for me.
All of us hotbed of lefties.
Well,
I don't know if you've seen it, by the way, Marcus, but Soda Water has got a comment in the side chat that says, just to let you know, I have no plans to infiltrate the Tory party and wouldn't advocate anyone else doing so. I didn't know you were a Tory voter. So they just wanted to clear that up from earlier.
That's okay. I've seen that now. Yeah, that's good. I'm just going to say the ground level of the party is so damn, it's not dead. If you're trying to infiltrate the party, you're not going to do anything. It's not like where you can ruin the sphere of debate probably in one of the momentum movements or something on a meetup.
Yeah.
There's so little meetups, you're probably never even going to say your opinion.
Yeah, I'll second that. Like the party is very much ignorant of its member base.
Well, yeah, it's very distant, and that's how it's going to probably stay for quite a long time. And I don't see anyone making big enough fuss about it to go and change it.
See, I have a question, right? And I don't because I'm on the inside of the party, right? And I will be full on I'm red, I am one of the reds under the bed, as some of the scare fucking tactics are.
You're more the red than me, aren't you?
I'm definitely more left than you. Probably not as left as you, Whistler, or
old school.
Old school, yeah. Probably not as left as them, but somewhere in between you and them, right? But I'm pretty fucking left, right? Now, it's kind of crazy. Like, how does it look to you? This is a question to you, Marcus. When is the fact that there could be a Jeremy Corbyn government in 2022, is that really scary to you? I don't understand what the
I don't get scared by governments in particular, especially over I don't go and I'm not so stigmatized by all of it or put to one side that I get scared by any particular government, because I think there's a lot of things on both possible governments at that period of time could be really, really bad. But that means I level myself out and go, what do the current parties look like? Oh, they're both pretty awful, actually, in truth. But that's because I take them both as groups of awful politicians that like to keep themselves going. Anyway, am I scared about him in particular? No. If I'm scared, I'm not scared, but I'd be deeply worried by what the party would go into works with, because I think if the Labour Party does not win the election, it would, and if it does, it would get a very heavy majority. If it doesn't, it will just about be even the Conservatives. But I think if it wins that election, it will be a very big majority, because I reckon it will be an election where it's like tight or it's bad.
On course for winning the next election.
Sorry, I didn't hear the very first of it.
Sorry, you think that Jeremy Corbyn Jeremy Corbyn's Labour Party is on course to win the next general election?
I won't make predictions now because I don't see. It's tight at the moment, but I don't see it going particularly well for the Conservative Party. The main issue, I'd say, it's not because Labour's doing really, really strongly at the moment. I think it's either the Conservative Party is just about to hang tight for the next few years, or we are starting to seriously fail to get groundwork done for
so
people
you're
on the
closet
ground.
left winger.
I'm not a closet left winger. Don't be gross. I'm a hyper realistic conservative. And
why did you like kind of prefix that with realistic?
Because I'm not a particularly Tory party supporter. That's why I'll say Tory.
So you're not a Tory.
No, I'm actually in the part. I'm a member of the party, but it's mainly just
atypical.
No, and I will not go and sit silently if someone says some darn ridiculous thing, either within the party, without the party, about.
Okay, so why do you
basically what Conservatives think they can do? I don't particularly support it. I'd support it over.
Well, you said you're a member, so you must.
Yes, I do. But I'm not a particularly like. I don't say, "Hey, we have the solution to everything," or anything like that. That's why I don't go and say I'm not someone who's shouting on the streets every day as a supporter. I'm a member. I take part.
You've got your card, like so. You do support the Tory party, right?
Yeah, I just said that. I'm just stating the distinctions of what I consider as. Like,
you're not an activist. Okay.
I think what you're saying is that you support the Tory party in the sense of you prefer them to Labour. Is that the gist?
Barely, but that's because I have such low standards for both of them.
Ooh, okay, cool. Yeah.
I'm the kind of person who sees a lot of the parties have been very useless lately and don't address many of the great issues, and we're just sort of propping ourselves up at the moment. But anyway, okay. Like I was saying, the main reason why I think we're going to lose, if we do lose, is because I reckon you'll see probably a year or two before, depends how the talks go, if our membership goes up or not. If our membership continues to decline, I just think the party about a year before the election, you'll be able to tell if they've lost or won it, because they're essentially, the support base will collapse. They just won't. A lot of the public will happily go and vote, not happily, but will begrudgingly vote Conservative. But you need to remind them to.
Okay. So you said that there are policies that you believing that the major parties aren't actually addressing. Could you tell me what one of those policies would be?
Generally, the state of national spending would be an issue that both of them don't seem to be on.
Well, that's
the current state of the army.
That's a broad fucking statement.
Sorry, yeah, that is. But it's the biggest one that holds up the whole question of what all the other policies do. Sorry, that starts with a big one.
Specifically,
so let's think about it. Well, the current path that the Conservative Party seems to be going down for cybercrime and just general policing seems to be getting just massive, absolutely bizarre. So for the nanny state, that's almost coming around through cybercrime.
This is something we didn't talk about during the Sunday stream, which is shame on you, Swiss, because that's been massive today. I've been listening to the radio all day, right?
Yep.
And all they've been talking about is knife crime in London and how Sadiq Khan is shit, right?
I'm going to be honest.
You, Swiss.
I'm going to be honest on this.
You know what? If I'd done that and left someone else off the list right now, we'd be going, "What the hell, Swiss? You didn't talk about the bloody sugar tax." Everyone was banging on about the sugar tax 2 days ago. Come on, Swiss.
I know, right? I know. Yeah, knife crime is massively.
I think it's over talked about, but I think it comes from a very sort of people going, "Why is it happening?" And then some people jump into, "Oh, it's because stop and search went down and that," and I'm like, no, it's not just because of that.
Okay, so what would be your solution? I have some ideas, but I'd be interested in what
I'll let you go first. No, I'll let you go first, and then I'll see if I can cover any spots I think you may have missed.
Okay, cool. So stop and search obviously failed because it was seen as people were. Bobbies were inadvertently targeting people of an ethnic background. So the first thing that we need to do is reinstate the body cams. We have the tech, so body cams would be the first thing. The other thing is we need to decriminalize things like weed and things like that. Okay, because what they tend to find was when they were doing stop and search is they wouldn't find a knife, but they'd find a bit of weed or whatever, and then these guys would be, charged for having weed on them. So rather than having stop and search, these police officers would have a wand, a metal detecting wand, like what they use in airports. Which is kind of similar. The other thing is that you would have stop and search, which would be led by intelligence-led search policies. So that would lead to you would need local bobbies on the beat. Okay, you don't. Generally, you have areas of polices, but the thing is, the problem is there's too few police officers, and there's no local police officers to have intelligence on that area, and the like I was saying earlier in the stream with Swiss is that you don't know the social economic circumstances and why they actually reach for knives and stuff like that. So that I would talk about more intelligence from the ground up, and also more kind of you need to have more evidence on if there's a complaint against a certain police officer. So you need to have the evidence there on video. So that's what I would.
Yeah. Okay, I think it's fair to say if stop and search is going to be increased again, it has to be body cammed, because honestly,
yes,
body cams are just useful to both sides of the situation. Someone does something wrong, you can complain, and you have the footage. If the officer says no, I didn't do it, they have the backup.
Mm-hmm.
So I can agree with that. On local intelligence, I think the whole there's a large problem with city policing, which is the fact that the stations are often they're a bit thinned between all the different areas, and obviously if you could get more officers and community policing, or just simply I'm trying to remember the official names for it, but it's around here we have some community officers, I can't remember the actual full name. Who don't have the accounting force. Yeah. You need more local ground policy. I'd agree. On that would be a very large change, though, because obviously you'd probably have to provide new funding to go and implement a new style of system, rather than just dispatching people from sort of the police stations on a call-out basis. For areas of like local policing, I'd say on the intelligence base that they can work together. If you were to target areas to basically be patrolled on a regular basis if there's increases in crime. I'm not saying broken windows, but obviously increase of crime in certain areas requires increase of counter. Oh God, I'm forgetting.
But you are in the fact that you say that you're not.
Well, how else would you actually go?
Really?
How else would you target the areas that are actually going to?
Well, no.
You were saying you wanted intelligence.
I'm saying that every area should deserve a local Bobby. I mean, I remember when I was growing up, we had a local Bobby, and he knew everybody, and I knew him. You know,
that's exactly part that's needed. I think there's going to be need a more constant local presence among police officers, or at least community policing of the sort, just so then people can actually get to know each other a bit more. If not, if you can't bring the communities together, so then they act more responsibly and they know who to tell the officers when they come in. You need the officers to be in the community more. It's either one or the other.
Well, I can feel like I can see that Swiss is like willing to jump in, but I just want to cut him short before he does jump in and say, yes, of course we do need these things. But then you're looking at, social workers, you're looking at
it's all
local workers. You need, local leisure workers, these are things that you need, leisure centers.
It's all a bigger thing. I'd love to have so many more community centres. That would be one of the main things.
Exactly.
Anything
and as a part of Tory austerity, all this shit was cut. Okay.
I'm not going to disagree with you.
Austerity. So how can you follow Tory austerity measures when they have cut?
I don't think the Labour Party's going to do it anytime soon. They've got much more different plans. Much more.
Sorry, Swiss man, I've said all I can. Can you?
No, okay. I'm just going to say, I imagine there'd be many things the Labour Party would want to debate for, but I don't think it's actually going to be their top list on the agenda at all. And I'd like to go and push the Conservatives to go more community all the way, but honestly,
do you really think they give a fuck? Do you really think that?
No, I don't think they give a fuck.
So why would you ever vote for them? Why would you ever be a Tory?
I voted for my own party in the last election. It's the point. I'm a member of the party, not a particularly big supporter.
Dude, really?
Yes, really. It costs like £10 for membership, and I'd like to actually go and be able to pick up experience within a local party. Also, it's the party that governs my region. It's got quite a bit going on, thankfully.
Okay, so your party has privatized a Royal Mail system, our transport system, and it's closed all of our libraries, it's closed all of our youth centers, all of our private parks, all of our public parks, right?
Guys, sorry.
And cuts police services by up to 10% around London, right? And you wonder why crime is going through the roof. Aside from that, you're looking at working.
It's not a failure of policing mainly, I think, for crime. To be honest,
working poverty has gone through the roof. People cannot, even though they work 2 fucking jobs, they cannot even afford to put food on their own kids' plates. Really, mate? Really? How do you justify even backing a party like that?
So you're going to make me say, on the current circumstances of that,
how can you justify that?
Just quickly, I'm off, guys. Marcus, I'll have you on my channel at some point if you want to chat about politics and whatnot.
That's fine. That's fine. Thank you very much, by the way, and have a good evening.
Nice one, Swiss.
Cheers.
Take care.
See you later, guys.
So, You're coming from this at the perspective at the moment that I have to go and justify every single thing that the party has done,
No,
and that every single thing the party
no, I'm
has.
asking you to justify your vote, your membership. How
My membership is different. My vote
No,
is
how
different.
is it? How is it different?
It is a different thing because I didn't even vote for the local Conservative Party. The local person that I voted for was an independent who was actually an economics grad, who was far more sensible on actual policy as
Really?
my local
Okay,
MP.
tell me
Councillors
what
I've
policies
also
that
voted for.
they back up, right?
Sorry, say again.
Tell me what policies.
What, the independent?
Yes, tell me what policies that you voted for.
Well, generally
Is
he
it
wants
Keynesian economics? Is it Marxist economics? Or is it, some other...
To be honest, I'm more leaning these days to going into Austrian, but I'm not actually dead certain on my own economics at the moment. I'm still trying to ground it.
So you don't have any clue. So you just vote for him anyway.
Excuse me, I didn't just say, hey, I go and have a dead certain economic policy. I know that I'm definitely not for Marxist policies of economics. Keynesians, I have quite a bit of problem with. Austrian, I feel that's got its own issues, but hey, I'm either in between Keynesian or Austrian. I don't particularly like the pair of them. This is why I'm not saying I'm committed to either of them. So it's not that, hey, I really particularly support something. It's not. It's just that I definitely don't support the other.
That's fair enough. That's fair enough.
It sounds wishy-washy, but it's that, or I'm saying I'm committing to something false, which I don't even believe in, and that's not right. That's
Marcus. I don't mean to sound harsh to you, and I appreciate.
You can say anything. I'm not going to get annoyed. It's the internet.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Wicked. Thank you. I think I got a little bit ahead of myself, just a moment there, and I'm sorry for that. But like I say before, I don't, unless you know your economics, I don't see how you can vote for a party or be a member of a party that is attached to cutting payments to invalids and
they have a simple budget to meet, and I don't think they meet their own budget, to be quite fair. Hence why I don't think their particular economic policy is not good, because it's not keeping to what they can call as a conservative economic policies, because it's not. It's to a monetary standard, and that perhaps ever so loosely it is. Maybe it's Thatcher's love child with Blair mixed in, but it's again. Just don't fucking know these days, because to be honest, what the Conservative Party is in it for the moment is just to be in power, and now they're just holding on. But that means they don't respect old conservative economic policies, where you should most definitely run away from running a deficit. And that, if they don't do that, they're happy to run a deficit, and they'll keep moving their own deadlines.
I don't think so. They're trying to cut down the deficit to the detriment of the disabled, to the detriment of the old, to the detriment of the infirm, to the detriment of the people that really are not fit to go out and work. They have sat there and have proved that, and this is the legacy of IDS, right? Whether you like it or not.
Didn't say I liked it. So anyway,
well,
I'm fully accepting of these facts,
but it is a legacy of IDS. Do you agree with that?
IDS, particularly.
IDS
somewhat to IDS.
Mate. He's a cunt, mate.
Oh, I've never liked him. Occasionally he's had a few television appearances where I'm like, he can hold himself okay on telly, but Jesus Christ, he's generally a dick.
So the
I'm
started, and the increased rate of suicides, really.
Exactly.
Because people cannot be accepted for their PIP or their their
whatever. I'm going to tell you.
This is a serious fucking record that the Conservatives need to fess up to. I'm sorry.
No, everyone has blood on their hands when they're in government. And this, I'm not saying this as in a way to say the Conservatives, they shouldn't be sorry for it, because they should be sorry for it. But they wouldn't mean it if they said it. The whole reason why they cut these particular things and not cut half the other benefits that will affect people on a wider scale, or increase taxes, which again affects people on a wider scale and will possibly go and stunt economic growth, is due to the fact that they are much more reasonable to say, hey, we'll cut things for expensive things, or not so expensive, but we'll cut here and there to a few people rather than the mass population.
Okay,
that is why they don't do it. Okay.
Are you pro austerity? Yes or no? It's a simple question.
Currently, I've been debating whether.
No. It's a simple question. Are you pro austerity? Yes or no?
In its current form, that's proposed by the Conservative Party.
No.
Compared
don't muddy the question, mate.
No, I'm not. Okay.
Simple
I'm defining what
yes,
you define what. Either I'm going to say the extreme austerity, or the one that the Conservative Party is currently running. And that I'm saying for the current one, in the foreseeable future, if the Conservative Party keeps running like it does, yes, I'd rather not change it. But if
really? Do you know
how
many people have died due to austerity?
Okay.
And you're saying yes.
Do you know what? No. Wait. Let me explain my position. You're going to ask me something. I will then explain.
All right. Explain your position. Sorry, mate. Sorry.
If they started out after the financial crisis and when they took government, and they decided that when money was cheap, they could have just invested heavily and spent madly, I wouldn't particularly agree with it, but I could see why they would have done it. I don't really think it would equal the bank. Due to the fact they've kept on with the austerity policy for so long, to go on it and to try and fulfill the reasons of austerity is to try and obviously reduce deficit, then not incur a large debt in the future. To have a sudden turnaround and just incur debt when it's not cheap anymore. Now, if someone was to say you end austerity tomorrow, I don't see the point. I could see if we're increasing government spending by like 5-10%, I may be flexible on. But if we're suddenly going to perhaps go into the world of labour, which I'm not going to say this is good or bad, I'm just saying on a monetary basis, if you are going to say we'll increase the budgets just to reverse everything that austerity did, just to go and give several 100,000 people more better living standard and think, which I think would be an admirable goal, it would make the current point of austerity pointless. It would just be pointless. So, to be honest, it puts a tricky economic situation on no matter it would ruin the past for the future. And it would also probably ruin the future because we'd be taking such a large amount of it.
What you're doing there is you're taking it'd
be zero-sum gain. I wouldn't want it to go, otherwise it would be stupid to ever have went with it in the first place.
No, that's absolute bullshit. I'm sorry, mate.
Go ahead. Tell me.
Okay, so austerity is a losing situation. Austerity is a tool used by the right to shrink the state and to starve the people that really need help from getting help. Okay, and that's why we have a shit ton of food banks. Okay, everybody slags off the left about the bread lines. Everybody pulls up the fucking picture of the bread lines during the Stalinist era of the USSR. Right now, what I'm telling you now, right, is food banks is what we saw during Stalinist fucking Europe. Okay. This is the situation when you have people that actually run your economy. Now we're talking about teachers and nurses. When they have to use food banks, then your economic situation has issues. When you're starting to cut prime services such as education and health and transport, then you have issues, right? This is economics for fucking dummies, mate. Fucking dummies. You cannot.
Really? Okay. I'm just
cannot,
saying.
No, dude. Let me.
No.
Let me
Okay.
finish.
Go
Dude,
ahead.
Let me finish. You cannot cut these things and expect your society to prosper. It is fucking stupid. Absolutely stupid.
This is where I'm going to say where they cut things, I think, was wrong. This is the thing. If, again, austerity never went through, but they did reduce certain things quite a bit, I would have said they should have definitely kept the budgets around education way higher. Guess what? I absolutely hate the line. Education spending has been the highest it's ever been.
Yeah, obviously it's not. Obviously, it's complete bullshit. You know.
I know. I want to punch people in the face if they ever say that. Thankfully, there's only usually 2 people on telly saying that, so I'm not punching the screen too often. But it makes me laugh just a bit.
Okay,
anyway,
Marcus, we have a question from Jack James. So when you finish, we'll.
Okay. What does he think of John McDonnell's fiscal position on day-to-day spending?
I don't know.
I'll be honest. I'm going to say limited. I really don't know.
Do you agree that you need to invest to grow? I think
I think most people can agree. You need to invest to grow. The key is where's the money come from and who you're investing in. This is why I was saying investing for education should have been greatly enhanced, the money for education, because honestly, I don't really care if you're in austerity measures unless everyone's going to have a cut. If you're still ring fencing things like NHS spending and stuff like that to some degree, you should always keep for education. It was just ridiculous that they ever cut it in the first place, because that's not how you're going to keep the future economy growing. It's like, I'm fully aware that the state of education's in. I know people working in industry. It's hard in the sector.
Do you think that the Labour manifesto is unattainable?
In terms of being pushed by government or economically?
Economically.
I think a large degree of it's attainable. I don't think it's long-term sense, but if you're talking about
there we go. There's something we can talk about. Can you be specific in that?
In the terms of long-term sense, or just the amount of money that it would cost to properly implement some of the Labour.
Can you be specifically anywhere you want? Like just pick one policy, and tell us whether.
Okay, the National Investment Bank, if I remember correctly.
Yes. Yeah.
That, I actually don't think it's the worst idea in the world. I don't think it's actually as expensive as anyone makes it out to be. And do I think it'd be run particularly well? No. But do I think the Labour government could quite possibly set it up? Yes. Yes, they could.
You know, it's not a new idea. You know, it's been trialed.
I know. I've heard of it. It was before Thatcher's time.
But it's been trialed throughout socialist, democratic
enterprise board or
parliaments throughout Europe. You know, so it's not a new idea, and it's something that's actually running now, especially in Italy and Portugal and Spain. Well, especially in Barcelona. But
I could see. No, I don't have a massive disagreement with it. It's just, again, I think the main thing is just the general overall cost would come to a very big number. I think that's, again, like I was saying, do you want to get more debt in the future? Because it leaves the country in a worse economic position. And just generally, the people who take debt off
this is the thing that really pisses me off. I mean, since 2010, since 2008, really, that the Conservatives have controlled the narrative and said, you know, the deficit or the debt seems to be the biggest thing that really rules this country, and you should be really concerned about the debt that this country is facing.
It's not though, because they don't even keep
to
it
me,
to it themselves.
to me and you, like all these political geeks, yes, it can be quite interesting to kind of look at, but to your everyday person, like your single mother or whatever, do you really think she gives a fuck about the economy? No, of course she doesn't, right? You know, her son's going off dealing drugs, you know, just got expelled from school. Do you really think she gives a fuck about the economy? Her daughter, 14 years old, just got pregnant. Do you really think
the personal
she gives a fuck about the economy? No, she fucking doesn't, right?
Bring the personal with the political then. This is the thing. There's a certain amount of, I'd call it, what would it be? I don't know. I don't have a word for it. There's a certain amount of, obviously, in the personal circumstances, people would like certain things achieved. On a national basis, if you're some governmental administrative freak, yes, you'd love to go and bring the deficit down. You'd love to go and start getting...
People don't give a fuck about the deficit. I don't give a fuck about it. I think about...
And this is where we bring the personal in.
I think about it on a global scale, but I still don't give a fuck about the deficit. Do you know why? Because it doesn't affect people's lives. Right?
It will affect them. This is why someone goes and mentions it. It's because the long term. Sorry if there's a car.
No. The only reason you're fucking mentioning it is because the Tories fucking set out that agenda. That's the only reason you're talking about it. Nobody gave a fuck about
this
it.
Country's going down a long path.
Bollocks. Absolute fucking bollocks, mate. I'm sorry.
The party in power now is still not caring about it.
Nobody gives a fuck about the fucking deficit or whatever, or the debt. No, the only reason that people are talking about the deficit is because they're using it as a bat to hit the Labour opposition.
They do. They get scared about every time, every election. They get scared and they use it.
Somehow that Labour caused the global economic crash. I know you're not that stupid, so I won't plaster that on you. But for fuck's sake, really?
What? Really? I'm saying it's an issue. I'm not saying, hey, you can... I think you could personally look at Labour's budget on occasion and go, that wouldn't be good, but in a real term, sort of short economic back to hit Labour with, hey, looks slightly good, but I don't think it's a real thing. But
okay, so if we look at the last election, they're the only party to have a costed manifesto by the OBR, right?
Labour, yes.
Yes. Okay.
I remember that one.
They were the only party to have a costed manifesto which was signed off by the OBR, right? And what did the Tories do? Bring back fox hunting. Wow. How progressive.
Okay.
So proud of your own party.
Again, do I agree with it? Also, I'm in the party just for the experience at the moment. So I'm young. I don't particularly have much sentiment to some of the daft ideas they pick, which is particularly dumb on daft fox hunting. We can agree with that. So,
Marcus, I'm like, again, my voice is getting quite harsh. I don't mean it to get harsh.
I don't take your voice as harsh because people generally escalate up in voice when the seriousness of the topic goes on. So I never take it personally. I'm used to these conditions.
Can I be honest, right? And the thing is that I get quite passionate when I talk about, people that can't pay for a loaf of bread. When I read news articles where children are filling their
stomachs with tomato sauce from the kitchens, and they go and do it, and then they go and bring it back home and they put water in it just to make tomato soup because they don't have enough. Yes, I'm very aware of it. I think it's absolutely disgusting state of society that where there is, again, we're going to go on and talk about the investment, where there is needed investment or just money put into projects, it's mainly at the start when people starting young and for the community basis. I think if we're going to have to agree on anything in the long run, whichever party, whether it's Conservatives, whether it's Labour, whether it's a different party in general, if there was another party that suddenly took over the Conservatives and actually proved to be a lot more better, I'd be happy. They need to deal something with the community of everyone, basically societal basis, because we are fucking up massively on how we're handling the young, mental health, when you go and fall out of employment, and it just generally, it's just abusive circles. And then that leads on to things like crime policy and how you're going to deal with drugs. Because if you didn't have these problems in the first place, we then wouldn't have to have talks about drugs. This is why I find it's a big picture thing. And obviously, when we go back to the big picture, people don't really care about the budget. They just want things done. I can agree.
I think you're a closet socialist, mate.
So, okay. So you think, okay, I'm someone who would actually like to see if a community could do it themselves, be happy for it. To be honest, one of the main things the Conservative Party has lost is any get up and go locally, and the fact that they just don't seem to coordinate apart from among themselves. If they actually coordinate out of communities, like in my area, I'm not going to name it, it's one of the poorest areas in the whole of England. If we probably go and bring, let's say, 10 to 20, maybe even 5 skilled professionals who have professions, and we brought them to one of the worst parts of the country of a few hundred people, and we say to those few hundred people, every week we'll go and run off our own pockets, or maybe with a tiny little government bit of funding, or just time in the local hall or community centre, we'll go and run a skills sharing class. You then learn. And maybe out of a few hundred people, 30, 40 turn up, something like that. Anything would be good. These are the kind of things that, like small community projects, that help wonders, because as soon as you get a few people improve, those few people improve others. If you only had, that would be the kind of thing I'd like to see. And that could go on with many other, I suppose, styles of projects. But obviously in your case, you'd think, well, the government could probably help do this as well. And that's why you would say things like community and crime, why isn't there a government system doing it in place? And that's why you go and think, when I say I want something done about it, I should be a socialist, perhaps.
No, hang on.
Why should I be a socialist?
You're assuming because I'm a socialist and I'm far left wing. I'm pro big government. I'm not pro big government. I'm just saying that it bridges the gap. Okay, so let's say that you have whatever you want. This is your march forward, right?
Yes.
What happens when a lot of these jobs get automated?
Okay, so how many of these jobs are being automated?
How do you deal?
I'm saying, as in, I'm just going to lead on. Realistically, most of the low-level jobs that won't require the skill sharing will be automated.
Yes.
As we know with Tesco's currently, they are going on a widespread campaign of basically rolling out self-service tills, and that will probably get to the point where
Tesco's,
will be
McDonald's, Burger King. Like there's
yeah. I'm saying one example. I'm fully aware of the situation. Low skill jobs like that could be of a major worry. I know there's been some proposals of a sort of like automation tax, although I doubt that would be very successful. But you could then at least go and use the money from that to go and hopefully put into the system. But I'm not particularly a fan of it either way. So what would I do about it? Again, if you have the automation tax, then hopefully you could go and get new skills, sort of skill centers to train people. But the interesting thing is if you make companies go and commit to it, which Tesco's has been slightly doing, although they haven't made vast cuts yet, but people are still worried about it. If you go and put automated tax, or you make the companies themselves have to retrain whoever they go and basically do out of a job. I don't think that works particularly well because you cannot guarantee them a job. Hence, why would they be trained? It's a bit of a
so
tough situation.
So I assume you're a capitalist, right? You're a free market capitalist, neoliberal capitalist.
Oof, don't start assigning that label to me. I'm not a mad capitalist. I think that the free market has its benefits, but there are also gross effects that it has on people, particularly the just basically commercialization of everything, almost. Which, again, on the conservative principles, when I look at it and I go, hey, this makes corporations, individuals go and do absolutely gross things, both to the environment and to how they treat their fellow citizens or whatever. You know,
Okay.
yes.
So you're not a free market capitalist. You're not like an Adam Smith or a
as much as Adam Smith sort of paved the road on that, I think on the good part that it allows a lot of movement of everyone to basically move into new lives, new jobs and everything. But obviously there's a huge problem with capitalism is the amount of money overall still sticks obviously very far near the top because it's so profitable. You can just keep pulling the gains out, but they only go upwards. Yeah,
Marcus, mate, I'm gonna drag you so far to the left. You wouldn't even fucking realize where you came from, mate. Honestly.
Well, that's not gonna happen. And hi,
Angel, hang on.
Hello, I did notice you, John.
Sorry. Welcome, Angels. Welcome.
So you're gonna find something. The positions that very traditional conservatives who have a thought of people and community and care will line up with the old style socialist views, which I've been quite interested in. I actually was reading up on Philip Snowden, I think his name was, someone who used to be the Chancellor, way back in, I think, the first Labour government or something, the first minority one, all the way back. So, who had some sort of experience with basically Christian community.
When was it? It wasn't Wilson's government, right?
Hang on.
Google is your friend.
I know.
So,
hey, how's it going? While he's like backing up his bullshit's tails, like what's going on, Angels?
Not much. I just had dinner and stuff. I'm just kind of chilling. I got invited out tonight, but I don't know whether I can really be asked because I've got a massively long day again tomorrow.
Hey, Angels.
So,
can your dad adopt me? But he has to become a Brexiter. Like I can be like your like surrogate son, but
well, I mean, it would be a bit weird. It would be a bit weird if you like my brother, to be honest.
I don't want to be your brother. Like cousin might be fine. Like,
yeah, I suppose.
So Ramsay MacDonald's government in 24.
Right.
So this is
okay. Right. I thought you meant a lot later than that, but then my history sucks. So.
Fortunately, that was a short-lived one. I do find some of the policies interesting, and obviously that's the difference with.
Can we just like welcome Marcus? Like you've like I've argued with you for like the last half an hour, and you haven't said hello to Angels yet. So Marcus, welcome.
Yeah, hi. So have you been on the channel before? Have you been on the channel before?
Yes, and I did say hello, but I think because I was talking at the same time, it doesn't go through.
No, I think that no, that's fine. Like I'm not worried about that. But have you? Because you haven't jumped in on the streams. Have you just mainly been in the side chat before?
I have been in the side chat a few times, but I have not particularly said too much. So yeah, it is the first time I'm speaking on this channel or in the sort of general sphere of you guys.
Oh, all right. Well, welcome. Also, make sure that you sub to like all of us because sometimes we do random shit talk streams like on my channel, for example, and like a couple of the others. So if you wanted to jump in on those from time to time, obviously you're welcome.
Yeah, Angels, plug your channel, mate.
No, I wasn't meaning that in a plug-in sense. All I'm saying is, you know, that we do
Angels,
do
I
that.
love you, so do it, man.
yeah, even though, like, because I was listening in for a little while, right? And I texted Ben being like, "Oh, is someone else getting the bullet now that I'm not there?" and then, but yeah. Anyway, I was like listening in, going, "Oh, poor new guy's getting the bullet. This is awful." But so I have to like wade in so I can start taking the bullets because I can always hide in the bullet bunker, right?
No, it's fine, and I think obviously it's hard to go and put my point down in a lot of it, which is without seeming like he just doesn't care. And why is he in that party?
Hang on. I'm outnumbered, mate. I've got Psycho Ben's fucking Marcus.
I'm the fucking word. It's 45 minutes.
Because you lot have been taking. But actually, for once, like this is weird, isn't it? Because normally we potentially are like the outnumbered ones, and now on your channel, there's.
I'm outnumbered on my own fucking channel. Yeah, nice one.
Well, they can always kick us.
Yeah, that's true. No, he doesn't want to kick us. He loves us, really.
I've never. No. Like I'd never kick anyone. Like, but yeah, I love all you guys. I do. I love the fact that we can all have a chat. And Marcus, again, going back to what I was talking about earlier. Yes, I do get really, really kind of passionate about what I talk about, but please don't feel it's me having a go at you. I'm just having a go at society. And
don't worry, I'm on the agreement.
And maybe by extension, I am having a go at you, and in the fact that you fucking vote for the Tories, you dick. But anyway,
mate, what did I say? I actually have never voted for them. I just try and occasionally ruin whoever they try and vote for locally. And I also have just, whenever it comes to MPs, I still haven't found like the local ones particularly good. So, yeah.
Yeah, well.
I'm happy to go and have a conversation with you all, and I won't take it personally because I'm familiar with debating, and I'm very familiar with internet debating.
Dude, he can win. Oh, the horror.
He's gonna really get on well with Swiss, isn't he? And Sty, man. I really think so. You need a thick skin, like if you're gonna.
I'm going to have to say, don't call it debating. It's discussions, guys.
Yes, exactly.
This is exactly it. This is it. And you know what? Jack James makes me sound like such a fucking like political predator. Jack James says that in the new guy Marcus, she smells a potential new centrist. Fuck off.
Oh, go away.
Oh dear. Someone else who can hop in the bullet bunker with me and James Fielding. James Fielding. Sorry, I almost left out his surname there. What a travesty.
What a travesty.
I mean, I had to go home.
Yeah, exactly. Who the fuck? Like, actually, it's even better if we include his middle name. So James Michael Fielding is even better.
Yeah.
Just.
Go easy on Chamchi, guy. I don't think we're going to gang up against him at his own channel.
Fucking bring it on, mate. Bring it
on.
No,
he doesn't.
Bring it on.
I'm not going to.
I take no fucking prisoners anyway.
I never assault people in the realm of politics. I never absolutely pull them through the mud or something like that. That'd be ridiculous.
It's not worth it, mate.
I should do. It's more fun that way.
Yeah, it's
Fuck off, Psycho Benz.
It's the thing. I always have the out view that, like, I have my opinion, and usually the person who has an opinion that I may disagree on has a reason for their opinion. So I never ever get like, "Hey, your opinion's completely."
Why you Tory? God, you come on, join us on the left, mate.
Look, no. You won't solve the things that you think you're going to solve. You will not create the pure world that you wish you're going to.
Dude.
Hey, one minute.
Fuck off.
Pure
Hang on a minute.
Pure world? Is it, what we're about here? National socialism?
No, I'm not saying the pure world. Everything's on an altruistic.
No. There's no such thing as utopianism, okay? Like, no, despite this fucking weird, fucked up idea you might have of leftism, yeah, there is no such thing as a utopia, right? Get that fucking idea out of your head, okay? I'm a pro-utopianist, which means that every year we try and make society better. Okay, now if you look at what the Tories are doing right now, I really hate to fucking do this whataboutery, but what they're doing is dystopianists. So what they're doing is they're making society worse. They're making society worse for you and worse for me, because
I think it's worse for temporary gain. So they see it for the next few years that the few work, the main bunch of the working keep, not the working class, the working keeps be able to basically live well until there will be a breaking point. Like, this is the reason why I'm saying the education and all that needs to be fixed.
Well,
otherwise, everyone suffers.
This is the thing. There's no fucking nuance in what you're saying, mate. Absolutely none.
Okay, how is it? They're trying to go and make
policy. You might learn something.
All right, go on.
All right. Relax.
Yeah, I know, right? So, what you need to do is you need to take education and healthcare, and you need to do it from the bottom up. The problem is, under the Tory government, is from the top down, right? We don't need any more bureaucrats. These are the people that are wasting all this fucking money. Yeah, we don't need that shit. I mean, what fucking conscience have you got, like, voting Tory, and then our fucking health service is fucking on its knees? Really?
Again,
dare you?
You're using the old thing. How dare you? When I've already responded, I know it's a problem. It's a very big problem.
Yeah.
And I didn't vote for it.
That's exactly what I was going to say to him.
Nobody else voted for it.
The only bad conscience I have in my mind is I gave them £10.
Mm-hmm.
That is the only bad conscience for that.
Yeah, but also, can I just say too, like, what I sort of can see. Maybe this comes from being a fucking boring centrist. I don't know, but what I can sort of see is flaws in either. Well, not really flaws in either, which they both do actually have, because there are flaws everywhere. Like you said, there's no such thing as a utopia. Nothing is going to be perfect, and that's just fact. That obviously is true, without sounding like Stizer. Bitches don't know my facts. But like, if you take stuff like that on an issue by issue basis, there's absolutely no denying that this government, I mean, certainly at the moment and stuff, in certain areas is really just awful, like really awful, and very, very incompetent, and lots of the policy is ill thought through. I think actually in some ways, even though I spend my life sort of feeling a bit sorry for Enstig, I think that Ben and like the other Conservatives on the channel are sort of right when they say that Theresa May is just an awful leader and not really doing anything for the party in itself and its identity. So there's absolutely no doubt that it's failing on multiple issues. But having said that, there are other things that are put forward by other parties, and not just Labour. Remember, all of the smaller parties too, which potentially would also not work 100% well. So people shouldn't feel bad for supporting stuff on like an issue by issue basis, and not necessarily saying, oh my God, we're going to get a Labour government in under Jeremy Corbyn and everything's going to be fixed. That's just simply not going to happen.
Oh, exactly right. Yeah, I agree with that.
So that's the way I just prefer that way of looking at things, because at the end of the day, that's more realistic.
But there is a huge but there, right? And it's a manifesto of hope rather than decline, right? It's a direction.
Okay, Ben. All right, I'll see you later.
It's a direction where you're looking at investment in. Oh shit! Where did Ben's go?
He just tried to say bye, but.
Oh no! Oh god, that was really shitty. Sorry.
No, that's all right. He just had to go.
I thought you wanted to speak. Sorry. Anyway, but if you look at the investment bank, it's all about investment in our country, and it's all about investment in how people can renew their lives. It's all about education. It's all about renewable, like transforming Britain from someone that's dependent on importing oil and gas from a place like Russia, right? Which we do. We import 30% of our gas from Russia. Why do we need that gas when we've got like major tidal fucking situations? It's really windy in England most of the time. It's not sunny, so we don't need solar panels. But there are other technologies.
Oh yeah, I mean, I see a lot of that obviously over in Holland because their wind farms are like really like now 100% of their trains are run on wind energy, which is excellent. Like that those types of things are obviously stuff that should be like all of that stuff to me is apolitical. So like that's the way forward, and there should be cross-party agreements on that because that's just
okay. So I agree with that, right? I mean, like what you said is fucking brilliant. I know you're a Europhile, and I know you're going to be agreement with me. I'll tell you a little secret about my wife actually helped build the wind towers in Holland, but she did. Yeah.
Oh my god, that's amazing.
Yeah, she is fucking amazing. But the other thing is, like, why are we not like taking on those ideas? Whereas when you talk to people like Nigel Farage, he's just like, yeah, well, there's gas sitting under this. Like the fucking place in Salisbury, and why don't we just blow up the entire place and just extract the gas from it? And you're just like, for fuck's sake, Nigel Farage, like, just because there's gas there doesn't mean you need to extract it. And he's just like, well, no, of course you have to extract it because it's just money sitting there. This is the situation, that we have to fight against. I would like the water of my nieces and nephews to be drinkable. I would like us to go through existential measures. I don't want us to rely on shit like fracking. Fracking is really horrible, really horrible. G.
I'm
hang on.
Just,
G. Hey G, I didn't realize when you just started.
Yeah. No, me neither, because I had the stream pause because my internet's fucking up.
No worries.
Hey G. Welcome, comrade, mate. Welcome to the stream. Did you are you understand? Like, it was BBC QT that I saw, like, Nigel Farage, and he said, like, it would be unethical for us to leave that gas in the ground, and that blew my fucking mind, right? It really did.
He's just he just cares about the money. He doesn't give a damn.
Yeah, he's a fucking capitalist. Yeah. And it's just like, what? You don't give a fuck about the people that live around there? You don't give a fuck about the earth? You don't give a fuck about anything? You just give a fuck about money. That's what it is.
Well, yeah, that's not surprising, surely. He's always like
Oh, no, it's not surprising. Of course it's not.
I mean, any grubby little idea he'll be on side with. He's awful, obviously.
Thank you for joining, by the way, G.
Right.
Took me by surprise.
Oh, sorry, I'm so quiet all of a sudden. I just got a text from the election agent again. It's like she always said, which I really appreciate, but she'll like send me little, because she knows it's always my first time standing, so she'll send me like little
Counselor Angel.
Angel.
We're gonna have to make a song up for you. something?
Well, yeah, I need to also set up all of the social media stuff and all this because they're all like 100 years old, the councillors in Runnymede, and I want to reach out to a lot of the younger people in the ward. So I want to set up, all social media specifically for my campaign and stuff. So I'm going to do that. And I spent today, like whilst I was on the stream in the background, I was like writing, like I already had the points for my election address, but I was like, just filling it out in between and just making it a bit more fleshed out. So I don't know. We'll see. Like I said, never say never, though, right?
Councillor Angels.
Well, if I can get,
Angels.
if I can get, I know you lot hate it, but like if I can get like a weird sort of coalition of voters, which some of the maybe party councillors might not be able to get, or at least not be able to mix, then who knows? I mean, I don't think I'd be a bad councillor at all. Definitely vote for the right thing in the council chamber.
You're a lovely girl, like, mate. Honestly,
I'm
lady,
and like I'm not gonna like, because I think the whole point is it's like what my dad was saying on the thing earlier. Like it's like because you don't really have you don't have vested interests or interests elsewhere or a party line to actually toe. You literally do vote in the interests of the residents in your ward.
Yeah, you do.
Because there's absolutely no interest in it.
It's all about bins and stuff.
well, largely. I mean, often. But when I was walking around like I said to you, the slightly sort of, because I've got a really mixed ward. I think I already told you I've got like 3 very, very different sort of areas. When I was going around the sort of council housing and or ex-council housing, which is often now student housing, some of the stuff that I know that the borough council is responsible for, as far as cleaning up certain rubbish collections and stuff like that, it was just awful. And I was just like, nobody should live like that. This is just bloody awful. And it doesn't, again, this to me is a local issue that nobody should have to put up with. It doesn't matter what your colours are on a national level. Nobody should have to live in those conditions.
I fear that you're going to be restricted by the Westminster budget, with austerity and stuff like that. I think.
I'm just saying, as someone who knows, you'll be surprised how easily you could win an election off of bins. It's incredible.
It's a big problem, isn't it? Lots of people mentioned it on the doorstep massively, and also along with the accountability for certain housing. Those were the big things. And so I was obviously being like a little nerd there with my like folder and noting everything down, and so we'll see. There's also little things like some of the local shops and stuff, they were threatening closure because of planning problems, and planning does fall under the sort of borough council responsibilities and things, and lots of different things like that. So I've got all of them down, and like I said, because I don't have maybe financial or political sort of interest in those things, I just want to see the residents a bit happier than what they are now, and they deserve it. So they need somebody open and honest to actually vote on their behalf in the council chamber, and that's what I'm going on. It's literally that simple. So, I don't know.
Good luck to you, I suppose.
Okay, so moving on, right? Marcus said, just a quick question. Sorry, Angels. Sorry, this is left right thing. Sorry.
Okay. No, I don't mind. I can talk about national. No, that's fine. It's just sorry.
It's only a quick
question. You said that the OBR costed up the Labour manifesto. You don't think that's right?
No, I wanted to check if that was the correct statement you made, so then I could check it on the internet. I didn't want to type something that was completely wrong.
Okay. So in the 2017 Labour manifesto, the OBR, so the Office of Budget Responsibility, was the only place that signed it off. Also, the IFS signed it off as well. Okay.
They didn't sign it off because they didn't sign off for ours either. They told
Well,
both.
because you
They
did
checked both of ours, and then they went and
have
said
any-
both of ours are incorrect and they aren't costed.
manifesto. That's why
Sorry, say again.
you didn't have any pound signs in your entire manifesto. That's
But
why
it turns out that
we
I'm
we
just saying-
costed our entire manifesto, and it was signed off by the OBR.
doesn't
You're
make
Googling
it.
it now. I can see. I can feel it.
Yes, I am. Office.
They said it could be irresponsible to do these measures, which were in the list of recommendations. But at least it was costed by the OBR.
All right, so let's do it.
You think I'm lying, don't you?
I'm not. I'm wondering in what way you're saying costed, but I'm actually really struggling to find it. And I'm not saying you're lying. I'm just because I know what happens when you say no. When you search up anything 2017 related, you're just going to get guff, and that's what I'm getting. I'm getting guff.
Okay. Go on, Angels.
Yeah, I just wanted to pick up on something that Cameron just said in the side chat whilst you guys were chatting, that Nigel Farage was a stockbroker, but I thought he was something to do with precious metals, like a metals trader or something.
No, he was a banker.
No,
Was
he
he?
was a precious metal trader.
Cam's always right. This is the thing. This is why we love Cam so much. Hey, Cam, we love you.
But
Cam,
I think
he's always right, man.
Cameron makes a lot of sense. But what I'm saying is, I think I was under the impression that he was a money man as well, and I think it was I think it was actually Psychobenz or one of the guys on the channel who said, "Oh no, he was actually a precious metals trader," which I had not known because I obviously didn't really look him up. So.
Okay, so do you mind if I move on? Because G, how's it going?
It's okay. Since you last asked, nothing to report.
Thank you for coming onto my channel.
All right.
You just sneak on like a little fucking ninja, like.
Well, you know, I have my ways.
In the side chat, you had a lot of questions with Marcus here. And I would like it if you actually asked him in person. So, G, you have the floor.
Well, I mean, I dare say you probably covered this. I just don't understand why you would vote Tory, essentially. I mean, given what they're doing.
I don't vote Tory.
He has said this 4 times now. I mean, I don't listen a lot of the time, but even I listen to that.
You joined them, didn't you? Is that what you said?
I'm in the party to understand local politics because, to be honest, the Lib Dem branch locally here is dead. I mean, it is dead. It's almost not worth mentioning. It's almost dead as my Conservative Party branch, which is saying something.
What area is it, by the way, if you don't mind me? You don't have to give me specifics, but I mean roughly in like the region.
Well, as my name suggests, Anglia, East Anglia, Essex.
Oh,
that's already given away a lot of information. Considering past information, I said it was close to being one of the poorest areas in the whole country. It's the poorest area in the whole England.
Well, don't worry, I'm not going to stalk you yet.
No.
But no, that's fair enough. But I mean, even if that was quite dead, I suppose it's difficult. I mean, I feel a little bit, as everyone knows, and you probably do if you've been in the side chat, I feel quite politically homeless right now. So I don't know.
You'll be
like you've just had 50 million quid like fucking buffing your centrist.
Yeah, but what is this? Like, I don't even know the details on this. Like, I am really skeptical that will even actually come through. Like, that will happen.
Homeless. Like, G, right? How politically homeless have you felt over the last 30 years?
The last 30 years.
50 years.
So right now. Well, I'm comfortable with my politics now. I mean, that obviously wasn't always the case. I mean, I don't think homeless really would apply. I don't think as I've said, obviously, I don't think the system works, so I don't care to have a place within it. So it doesn't bother me. I don't look to any of the parties to solve anything.
Fuck's sake, I hate you. You're supposed to back up some of my arguments, and you're always like,
sorry, but that's
Splitter.
how it is.
Actually, weirdly, me and G Whistler do actually, which is so bizarre, right? We do actually agree on that. I have to be honest. I don't hold a lot of faith in the political parties, if I'm honest, or our setup and the way it's done. So,
I would say the setup at the moment is not bad. It's the who's using it is basically ruining it, and that's a sense of also the parties are in quite a shambles.
Well, who's in it is who sets it up. I mean, that would seem kind of circular.
Well, basically, they're not going to the rules. Essentially, it's like the parliamentary democracy thing. We, for some reason, did a referendum. Why? That's not against the rules, but it's completely against the point of parliamentary democracy.
Exactly. That's what I never got in the first place. I'm like, well, what?
So that's why we now essentially, we're not putting a constitutional crisis, but we're pretty damn close to the one where we've got the people who are saying, oh, should MPs have the final vote or not on the Brexit deal? And that it's like, you shouldn't have put it in a referendum in the first place.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, we do. But we technically agreed from the start of the Brexit bill that it's like, we're going through Brexit. And then we're like, oh, shall we going to disagree at the end of it, even though we're meant to be taking a public referendum that wasn't legally binding. But if you're asking a public referendum in a parliamentary democracy, you probably should listen to it. It's like, for some reason, we ask it.
The difference is the moral stance versus the legal stance, isn't it? And the legal stance, obviously, it means nothing. It's a glorified opinion poll, essentially. It's not at all legally binding, but the moral stance is, look, we've told the people that this is going to be carried through. And whilst I am honestly like a massive Remainer, right? Don't get me wrong, I think the whole thing's a poor idea from beginning to end, including the way it was done. But also, I understand that this was something that was called, people basically said, well, whilst it's not our normal way of doing things, we are going to call a referendum, and whatever the outcome is, will be carried through. So, like, you have the moral thing, as I said, versus the legal thing.
Well, I think it's what you're considering as moral is also technically, it's not officially legal, but it is what we would consider like, okay, if you're going to hold the referendum and ask for majority opinion in a democracy, that is, we all know how the democracy typically works. You listen to that, and then you go on from it, and I think that's what the issue is when people go and say we should still be trying to drag our feet and stay in the EU. I'm happy for people when they say I'm a massive Remainer, but I've got to listen to this, and we need to go through with it, or we need to go through with it, but in whatever manner I can say, but we just need to go through with it. And I'm happy with that. I think that's where some people take issue with it.
Mm-hmm.
But that's why I think it was
I can understand why they do, but that's why, like you said, the two different ways of functioning don't necessarily sort of go hand in hand. You know what I mean? Either you're a parliamentary democracy or you're not. Like.
Yeah, and I think that's the issue is when we start saying we're going to try and be both of something we're not, then you're not doing the one and the other effectively. If you want to be more direct democracy, I don't agree with that necessarily 100%.
I don't either.
But if we can go down the route direct democracy, go full, I say to whoever who wants it, go fully with it, and then go from there. But it's while we had people. It's like when we had the referendum, if we wanted to go proportional representation or back.
No,
or
it was AV. It was AV.
AV,
and that's not. Yeah, so no wonder it failed on its arse, because that's lame. We've never actually had a form of PR referendum. I'd like to see us have one, because when people are stopped in the street, like the average person in the street, I think it's around 7 out of 10 or possibly more, I can't remember. I don't actually have the source on me, but I can look it up. When people say,
sorry, Angels. It's just
I'd like to finish before you cut in. Hang on. When people are stopped in the street and it's phrased in the way that PR works, which is, would you like to see the amount of representatives relative to what the public votes for? Unanimously, people say overwhelmingly yes. And that's essentially what PR is. So whilst it has its flaws, it's a lot more representative. Like
how many people did you speak to?
No, this is not me. This is polling.
This is when a survey has gone.
Okay, and how many people did they speak to?
So this is multiple different polls, but I will dig up. I have I'm such a nerd, you know that, right?
Yeah,
I have literally an entire bloody. I'm gonna have to dig it up. I've got some on my laptop, but I have some in hard copy, like some in which I remember printing out a while back. And overwhelmingly, people, when you phrase it like that, which is essentially what it is, the British public says yes because they feel more represented. Because at the moment we have quote unquote majority governments on like 30% of the vote. Pathetic.
We have simple majorities. They're majorities, but they're simple majorities.
Yeah, and they aren't they aren't representative of what people vote for. Essentially, if you look at that, the vast majority. Wait.
Go on, Angel. Sorry.
The vast majority of votes don't count, and that's not fair, in my opinion.
I completely agree with you, but you know, with every
Chamchi, oh my god, I don't mean to be rude, but there's a fucking massive spider here. So can you just give me 2 minutes because I have to get rid of it? And I don't want to kill it either. So I'm just going to put it in like a glass.
Can you put it out the window, please?
Yeah, I am going to put. I never kill. Oh my god, it's massive though. All right, I'll be right back.
This is where I take the difference. I absolutely dislike the things, and I will kill them.
No, never kill spider. Mate.
He goes into the territory of the home.
No. Well, here we go. This is all about what walks into your house or your apartment and
domain.
Okay, yeah, we're not going to get into that now. Now the thing is, proportional representation or alternative voting systems. That was the vote in 2012. Am I right? In 2012, there was a vote. There was a referendum on how people should vote, and it was on alternative voting systems. Proportional representation was not a part of that. That was ad hoc. It was after, right?
I'm checking.
You're checking. Okay.
I don't know the exact year.
This is what Angels should be like here because she's well up on this shit.
It was 2011.
2011, like 1 year, really?
Yeah. Well, I'm not going to put a year. I won't say a year unless I know the year, unless I'm really going to have to quote something, and then I'll say approximately. And then most people go, "Why don't you know the exact year?"
Approximately. Marcus.
68% rejected.
Rejected, yeah. Voter turnout.
Voter turnout. Let's see. 42% registered voter turnout.
I know, shit, wasn't it?
That's not bad for a referendum that we're not particularly used to, and it was over a very mundane subject.
It was really a mundane subject.
Most people thought it was boring. I remember it.
Yeah,
Most
I know.
People thought it was boring.
That's the problem. Yeah.
It's not exactly when you can go and get about a good amount of the public out to vote on the issue, like are you leaving or staying in the single market, and then you have a big 5-year lead up to it, and then another half a year's worth of constant, lively politics, and then about a month's worth of campaigning that's even more fiery. That really gets people out.
It does. So anyway, G has actually joined this room for a reason, considering Angels is battling with a spider. So G, you there? You fit?
Mm-hmm.
So you have some questions for my man here. Like, what's your question?
Well, I mean, he's probably answered all the questions. I don't really understand why you'd want to have anything to do with the Tory party. It doesn't seem to me to be a productive way to go down. I mean, surely you're not going to join someone if you don't agree with them.
It's not because it's like a hardcore blood pact. That would be the way I describe it. It's.
But what are you trying to get out of it?
So, like I said, I'm quite young. I can go into the party. I can learn about local politics. I can learn about how the party function works, what their main goals. Is it right for me? Would I then see for in the future? Would I be able to push for opinions that I think would be better? Possibly, actually. But you don't get much out of it, but you don't get much out of most parties on a membership basis. I'll be quite honest. Yeah. I think in your large wave of voice, even in the Labour Party, and I think you get a lot more involvement in the Labour Party.
How can you comment from the outside?
Because you brag about it all day long.
What? Brag about what? What are you talking about? Mate?
Okay, people brag about momentum, how large it is, all the different subsections, like the co-op parts of the Labour Party and that, how they work together. I can see them visibly on the streets. They usually have a lot more people walking about.
Do you know? This was called unions, and this is like called collective action, right? And this is why you have holidays. This is why you have an 8-hour working day. This is why you have equality in the working place. This is national or universal, what we call universal suffrage, right? The labor movement are all these things, right, that you take for granted, and you
don't start going on moralizing, grandizing.
Shut up a minute. Right? You then take a step back and say, oh no, I don't need that shit because I'm gifted and I've got white privilege and I'm gonna vote Tory. No, sorry, mate.
Okay, whatever straw man that was, fine.
That wasn't a straw man.
Yes, it was. You're not talking to me when you said that. I honestly believe you weren't talking to me.
Liberties are taken, and believe me, we have taken a shit ton of liberties over the last 100, 200, 300 years. Yeah.
Why do you need to join
crazy aren't given? That's almost completely awful. That would be someone who's saying from a complete, this would be almost like arch capitalist in the way. I'll just take something for you for my own benefit. Hence, it was given. No, it wasn't. Freedoms are meant to be from something. You don't get given them. You just don't. They are preserved. They are upon you.
Sorry, G, back me up here, mate. Liberties are taken, not given.
Well, no. Any rights we get are taken. They're not given. They're conceded, but they can be taken back at any time.
So wouldn't you prefer the president that they are just there rather than they have been taken from? Because a lot of people don't oppose to some rights a lot of these days. So let's say a right to for complete general suffrage. I don't see many people trying to claw it back from you. Hence, it's still retained and it's there. Although that is one that's a right granted. That's not a freedom. A freedom would be like freedom from violence.
Can I quickly cut in and slightly off topic, but I didn't kill the spider. I caught him and I put him out. So.
Oh, nice one, Angels. Wicked. Thank you.
I always do that because I never. You know how some people, and I'm not being sexist here, but especially girls tend to fucking start shrieking and shitting themselves when like there's insects in the house. I'm like not that scared of insects at all. In fact, at all. So every time there's a massive spider, it's more the fact I don't want to scare it so it doesn't fucking run under a bookcase or something. But I managed to get it and it's out, so it's all good. I never ever kill them though. People are like, "Oh my god, you're such a softie."
Wicked.
If I can put a cup over it and then get it out the house, then it's fine. But if I don't have anything available, a book's going to come down on it. I'm sorry.
Oh no.
It's just that I know it's there and it's gone. But if I don't have anything, I can really get hold of it with. But anyway,
Marcus, right?
I'm just alerting you. I've got about 5 minutes. I did put that in the chat. I just want to
fair enough.
be alerted.
But how do you think you only work?
Well, right,
hours?
so, I mean, right. So
Go on, G. Sorry.
You seem to be asserting that a kind of moral objective reality. I mean, these freedoms only exist because we fight for them. They don't exist on their own. They're not things in the universe. They're human concepts, and we give power to them ourselves. And so, if you have a power structure in society, like a hierarchy, then the people at the top of that hierarchy have the power to enforce those freedoms or the power to restrict those freedoms.
I typically agree in the fact that they have been taken and that they could be taken away again. And that they could go the other way. They could go up the chain rather than down the chain. I can't 100% explain it through direct words and actions.
Marcus.
I'll agree on that point, but I don't know how to directly defend my own, but I'm not conceding my own. If you get what I mean.
That's fair enough.
I'm going to say that I can fail to go and keep my own ground on this one. So, onto another point in my limited 5 minutes, I suppose.
But what do you hope to get out of being a member of the Tory party then? I mean, you said you wanted to
get local election experience, and that's a simple one. And that.
But you're not standing, are you? I mean,
what could but flipping easily. I'm going to say that
Well, why would you though? I mean, these.
Why would I though? Wouldn't I want to improve something for my community and residents?
The working people. These are people that are fucking over the NHS.
Most of the councils don't absolutely hate your guts. Funny enough, some of them differ from others, I know, but most of the councils are a bit different to what actually standing MPs are like, and what the core block of the top part of the Tory party is.
Well, some are, some aren't, but the Tory ideology is the problem. And you've chosen to be part of that. I personally don't understand that. I mean, I accept that you want to have the experience of the political system. I just don't understand why that requires membership of a very toxic
I'm not going to be able to push anything within the main Tory line party ideology, and I don't even think they keep to what their own supposed ideology is at times. And to be honest, I don't think I'll get anywhere. What they claim to be conservatism sometimes is completely not rubbish, but it just comes out their arse at times.
Well, do you agree with any of their policies?
Do I agree? In the realistic sense, for some things like military spending, yes, but I think they're lying to themselves with.
Yeah, but hang on a minute. Like,
it depends if you're
Theresa May and Amber Rudd actually say that they're cutting military spending by like 70 million quid, like in the last budget. Isn't that so you agree with the fact that they're actually cutting military spending? So not even the Labour Party agrees with that shit, man. Fuck's sake.
Yeah, but they would fucking have to do it anyway.
What?
But yes, they would. Okay, this is the thing. What I'm slightly getting a bit weird about with the Labour Party lately is, what will you cut to go and make sure you will have the money for the future budgets, or is it going to be borrowed?
Look, we can print our own money. It fucking makes no difference, man. There is a magic money.
Print the own money.
Print the own money. Dude, there is a fucking magic money tree. Fucking Theresa May and the DUP have fucking proved that, right?
It's not unlimited. It's a magic money tree that goes and suddenly brings you £5 notes in the equivalence of governance.
No, it
doesn't bring you hundreds of pounds to lay out on the floor.
Dude, it depends on how you spend it, doesn't it? Right? You can either invest it in kind of assets like power, housing and maybe defense a little bit. But what you could do, which is what the Tory party have done, is they could make it a bribe, right? And
They
what they
use it
could
to
do at
prop
the
up
same
anyone.
hang on, listen, I ain't fucking finished yet. What they could also do is really put the Good Friday Agreement on under the fucking chains, right? And they could really make sure that the Good Friday Agreement is under the fucking whip, right? So, which would you like us to invest in power and you know, education and you know, transport, or would you like it to be a bung or a bribe just to keep your stupid little Theresa May in power? Which would you
Yes.
like?
Okay. Guess what? I actually don't like the Good Friday Agreement all that much because I don't think it's made to last. Number one.
Oh
Two,
my god, how can you say that?
How could I say it? The fact it puts future lives in jeopardy of people in Northern Ireland and Ireland at risk? Yes. It wasn't made with all the particular long-term thinking that's clearly coming up now in terms of Brexit. That's how I could say it.
Yeah, but
Anyway.
I would say that there are enormous flaws in it from that perspective. You're totally right. But the fact is that that's the agreement in place and not another one at this point. And
Yeah, I
to
agree.
actually turn around on such short-termism and say, well, because, when we as we well know, right, what's included in the agreement is that the British government must remain 100% neutral. There's no way that's going to happen if you're propped up for votes because you have no majority by
I didn't
one-sided
say
disagreement.
that was the reason.
No. But I don't. But I'm not saying whether it is or whether it isn't. That is factually correct, right? And to me, I remember. I'm like, actually, I hate revealing this, by the way, but I'm actually old enough to remember some of the more horrendous things which did actually happen then. And I have never ever seen such irresponsibility than to put ideology and party politics essentially before keeping the peace amongst people in that region. And I don't believe that any party should be that. I mean, I understand it's been happening more and more amongst major parties, right? But no party should be that incredibly irresponsible that they would do that. So it may be imperfect, but it has to come above politics, essentially, keeping the peace and saving people's lives.
Angels. Sorry, mate. With your last comment, you've just lost your right to comment for the moment. I'm sorry, mate. Angels, I do completely agree. The fact that the Tory party can put the safety of the people of this country, they can put power or policy or power above our own livelihoods, I think was really scary, especially when they made that deal with the DUP. You know, when you look at the Guildford bombing, that was far too close.
Well, we remember that. That was
Yes,
on the doorstep of where I was. Well, I went to uni in Guildford, but I was brought up in obviously the outer, as you know, Greater London surrounding area, and that was just absolutely.
It's crazy.
I mean, well, yeah, I think as well when it gets that, it makes it all the more real when stuff like that happens on your doorstep. But some things are bigger than
party politics.
Sort of than party politics, and protecting peace amongst individuals in that, in Northern Ireland should obviously take precedence. And what I found quite shocking was that I know that Tim Farron, when he stepped down as leader, he had previously ruled out going into coalition, but Vince Cabell had not, and he was already in the driver's seat of the Liberal Democrats, which, by the way, have more MPs than the DUP, albeit not many, but they would have been a much better option, a much more neutral option than going for that. And I remember being quite shocked about that, being very really not only disheartened but very sort of shocked, really, that it you know, Brexit and all of this and their backing up of this takes precedence over the lives of people in Northern Ireland. It's just not good enough. So no political party should stoop to that level, in my opinion.
Thank you, Angels. Yeah, that's wicked.
Okay,
so you have a further comment, do you?
As I've just stated in both the chat and the live stream chat, I was saying I disagree with the long-term consequences of the Good Friday Agreement. I appreciate Good Friday Agreement stopped, obviously, terrible things happening.
How old are you?
How old am I? Let's see. I'm going to give you a round number, 20. But if you then go and give me some sort of thing you don't remember, I'm not going to accept that as an answer, because that's not what I'm talking about.
How old are you?
I just said a round answer, 20.
So you have no living memory of anything.
I don't know if my mic did not get. I don't know if my mic did not get through to you.
You don't know the fear that.
Okay, I'm going to say this one last time because I will need to go. If my mic did not get through to you when I just said, if you are going to hold this as I don't have a memory, I'm simply saying I disagree with the long-term consequences, but I appreciate the short-term, several years that we'll get through having no conflict in Northern Ireland and the lives that will be saved. The peace and quiet at home is incredibly valuable to people. I worry with the Good Friday Agreement that it cannot hold forever, and it either could lead to more troubles in the future. I would have liked a more solid long-term plan, but we've some reason left the Good Friday Agreement as is.
And that can happen whilst
and
the other one is in
Theresa May's government doing deals, because again,
no, of course not. But you are right that there are flaws in it. There's absolutely no two ways about it. But when you're looking at it in a literal manner, in a realistic manner, you don't want to say goodbye to it. Of course you don't. Because essentially that could easily and probably overnight lead to the loss of life. So you keep that in place, you have decent talks, you have decent pragmatic discussions, and then you come up with something more long-term. But until then, you honour that like it's the bloody crown jewels, because at the end of the day, the troubles in Northern Ireland were absolutely horrendous. And whether this is not a discussion about whether or not the Good Friday Agreement is perfect. This is a discussion about whether we keep in place something which has arguably been touch wood for God's sake, relatively successful so far and took a long time to get into place. And that takes precedence over party politics of any side.
I completely agree. That's why I never said I want it removed. I said I disagree with it, but I never, ever, ever said I want it removed right this instance, right now. Because it's just...
No, you're right. I mean, it could be replaced perhaps with something that's more effective, but for right now, this is what we have. So,
I think nobody's ever going to disagree. Yeah, nobody's going to disagree that it's completely unacceptable to have it now. Because I think, obviously, at this moment in time, it's better than nothing, and we're probably not going to get much difference. But we show where it frays over time is when you try to implement government dealings. And that, considering this is meant to be a unitary government, we now, of a sense, we can't actually interact with a part of the realm. Okay, that's bad. And then when you do it, because the Good Friday Agreement says you should be independent in your dealings with that part of the kingdom.
Yeah, it says you have to be entirely neutral.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it contradicts what we are, actually. It's just daft. It really is.
I can understand favour one side though, because that by sort of almost automatic, by automatic means, does flare up one side of an argument or another, and that happens in any conflict. So I can understand why it's phrased that way. I'd be happy to replace it with something more long term. I saw that, by the way. He's been chatting to Gerard about this. He's a good friend of ours who comes on. You probably know Gerard, right? If you've been in the side chat a lot. Our mate from Northern Ireland. He lives near, I think, the Belfast region. like Belfast area.
Mate, those streams are fucking awesome, man. It, like he gives us like so much insight that
Because
I really
he's really well read, yeah.
Irish politics, you know.
Exactly, and but, well, I feel like the way that things are across the pond, so to speak, is that we don't actually get a lot of Irish politics like in most of the published stuff that we actually end up getting to read or whatever. So it's really good that you have sort of real-time chats about it, you know, on top of obviously, and I understand we can all do our own research and stuff, but to actually have it live in front of you from somebody who's living it day to day, I think that that's a really good way of, you know, learning.
Yeah, definitely. And I think that's one of the great things that Captain Swiss does. And saying that,
yeah,
hello,
she's back.
Oh,
I went and had a nice little bath for a bit, and then a lie down, and then I came back to my PC, and I'm back in the stream again. It seems.
we're still going. Okay.
Still going. We didn't mean it. I didn't mean to get too aggressive on our new guest, Marcus. He's a really good guy, man. I love this new guy, Marcus.
I was just saying in the stream chat, I was like, you're very passionate and talking, but you're well intended, and I can appreciate that.
Yeah.
But
there
is
no
a but there. Come on.
There was no but.
There's definitely a but there.
There isn't a but. I wouldn't be able to give you a but unless I fully knew you in person, probably. Unless or 10 hours extra of talking with you. So.
I know. Well,
I'll throw a but in there for a lefty.
We are honestly, Marcus. We're gonna drag you so far to the left. You
yeah, I know you're not
shouting like Leninism.
It's all right, Marcus. It's all right, Marcus. I'll be the bullet sponge.
No. This is the thing. This is the difference. I'm so old styled tradcon at times. I get hanged by the lefties. Apparently, I get the hang. I get the rope.
Oh, you get the bullet. Noose. Yeah, no bullet, just noose.
Just noose.
No bullet.
Shit.
I actually agree with that. It's like if you're gonna put someone to death, you noose them, so then you don't absolutely ruin their body. So then you can put them back to the grave nicely. You don't desecrate anyone's corpse. Then I'm just nice. I'm a nice person like that.
Have we been doing this all wrong?
Well,
bullets are the wrong way to go.
Oh, great! So now I get the fucking noose. I can't.
I'm just saying some people may be hanging by the end of the evening. I'm not naming any names.
I know it's me.
At least it'll be hanging from the gallows and not swaying by the trees, because that would be a really weird line to take, I would have to say. Although I've heard some people, someone, a syndicalist, believe it or not, these things still around, went and told me you'll hang off lampposts. That was like, okay, this is great. They're just going to tie me up in the bed. Out of bed in the night, and I'm going to be hanging through lampposts, swinging side to side.
Okay, so
Jesus, yay! Mantle's here. Hi, Mantle.
Some imagery here.
Fucking hell! Like, is it like? As soon as I feel like I want to go to bed, like everybody like wakes up and goes, "Oh yeah, let's do this fucking stream." Fuck it.
That's all right. We take it onto my channel when it becomes late at 9 p.m.
Okay, Angels. If I wrap this up, are you gonna start up another stream? Because then
Ben's just joined.
Is this shit still going?
Yeah. I'm going to do one on my channel in a second. Everyone's coming over. We need to.
Oh Christ! Right. I can go out to the shop then. That's what I was going to do. I'll see you guys over on Angel's channel then.
All right. Okay.
Hang on.
Are you walking away from me? I've joined.
Fuck's sake!
No. We love conservatives. Mantle's just joined.
Yeah, we've got 3 of them now.
Yeah, totally. This is wicked. Right. Okay. So can I please say thank you to Marcus. Thank you, Marcus, for being a brilliant guest.
Bullet sponge.
Thank you for hosting me.
No
this
worries.
evening.
Anytime, mate. Anytime. The other thing is, I would love to have you to do a Q&A. Grab me on Twitter, and we'll do a Q&A. It's great fun. It's just it's not political. It's like, you know, favorite color, like favorite movie, that kind of shit. But
God.
yeah, it's just something I love to do with
Chamchi, I just
my friend.
realised he might enjoy the conspiracy theories if we do.
Oh yeah. We okay, so this is something that that Angels and I do. We kind of do this like conspiracy theory things, and we dress up with the whole like tinfoil hats and stuff. If you've got a conspiracy theory, like fucking post it in, and we'll talk about it.
Yeah, definitely.
I'm apart from, you know, the world is flat, it's ice, and there's only like the Earth, and then the Earth's flat, and then there's more ice around it. You know, apart from that daft one, I'm not really into conspiracy theories.
What? That's absolutely disgusting that you just said that.
Right?
Still, like the still beams one's just complete nuts of crap.
What
It's
about like Moon Landing,
Campbell.
9/11, Marilyn Monroe, like all of the big ones? Oh God, I fall asleep to that shit.
Yeah. Like you know, the Queen is a fucking lizard, and you know, David.
Lizard people.
We can have to address that on the next one.
No.
I've been watching loads of Ike in the last couple of days, like just out of morbid curiosity.
Swiss jumps back in and says, "I've been watching loads of Ike."
You've got to go with like the Prime one. The Prime one
hang
is.
on. The other plug that we should do, right, is Road Dog is doing Quizmaster tomorrow, GMT. I think about 5 o'clock, 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock. Like
even though she has man flu, what a fucking trooper.
I know, she's had a weekend to fucking recover. Like, but she apparently she did say to me that she's well up for our political Guess Who. It's gonna be wicked, mate. It's gonna be wicked.
Yes.
It's gonna be funny as fuck. Like, if it's anything like the last one, like it's gonna be.
I still think the best was Dominic Raab so far, because I've never seen such a likeness. That is literally his doppelganger. Unbelievable.
Agent Smith as Dominic Raab. Yeah.
He was to the image. All right. So basically,
Marcus. Sorry.
Can I quickly add? I just put, before it gets spammed away, I put my channel in the side chat. So I'm going to be doing like an after stream on mine until who knows.
Candidate Angels.
Let's see how it goes.
Next week.
Exactly, candidate. Huh? Do you remember our 17-hour one?
Oh God, please
Yeah,
don't do one of them again.
You did a 17-hour stream.
But physically draining.
We did a 17. Yeah, it was really draining. We did 17 hours over, I think, like
3
4
streams.
channels.
Because it cuts out
3
after
streams.
8 hours.
8 hours, yeah. Oh God! And we were still, and like people went to bed and then got up for work, and we were still streaming. So people were like joining us at breakfast before they left for work and stuff, and it had been going on since the afternoon the day before.
Swiss.
Swiss.
Can Marcus become a member of the Bullet Club, because he's pretty cool? Like, to be fair, like,
yeah. As long as he's prepared to get the bullet.
I stick my face in once, and you're already propping me up to get a barrel to the face.
Sorry, did you just say you stick your face in once? That's like even worse innuendos than Swiss does. You came out with some crackers.
Like it's no small feat, like, to get yourself into the Bullet Club, to be fair.
Oh, we'll let anyone in.
You need to
Wow.
prove yourself, and I think you've done quite well this evening.
You go through like
I've
a
given you
trial
loads
system.
of shit.
Yeah, you still need to
Loads.
pass the 3 bullet trials. You've dealt with Champchi.
Oh,
That's
God.
the first bullet trial.
Is-
You then need to debate with Pfizer about veganism. That is the second
Oh,
bullet
no,
trial.
no.
And I don't know what the third one is.
Debating with me about Brexit.
Okay, you
Oh,
couldn't just go for just have as many drinks as possible on the third one, and you name X wild number, maybe like 20 digit, like 22-digit number or something like that of drinks.
Well,
that could have gone.
Or
well.
it could be like, can you deal with a 17-hour fucking stream? Like, I
can
think
deal
that
with
could
12
be-
hours.
Yeah, I
That's
think I
proven.
feel like that was exactly. I feel like that was pretty hardcore. Actually, that was quite impressive.
That just feels like you want to just do something awful to yourself. But I can deal with a 12-hour one. That's been proven. So
Oh, okay. So you're an amateur right now, but you know you'll
used
get
to.
there. You'll get there.
I used to
So-
go.
So
Stream
who's
lots more.
sorting out the next stream anyway? So I can wrap this up.
It's Angela's.
Yeah, it's mine.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I posted my channel in the side chat. I can post it again. Hang on, because I have a
Hey.
lovely shiny blue.
Can you send me the link personally, please? But
Ooh.
anyway,
Is that the wrong one?
thank you.
Okay, that's
the people that are sitting there, please hang around once I go off air. Always, because I need to say thank you and stuff. Thank you to everybody. Please join us on Angel's channel if you want to. Thank you. Chuck a like and fucking subscribe if you really want to. I think it's really I wouldn't subscribe to my channel because I talk shit all the time. But anyway, beside from that, yes, join us on Angel's channel in a bit.